And so the Kajis quit their actual jobs. Luan was a chemistry teacher, Shion was an engineer, to become full-time Ryan's World content farmers. They hired...
Okay, but any parent would have done that. If I'm a parent and I just see my child make 20 millions in a year, you think I'm about to be a chemistry teacher? You think I'm about to be an engineer for somebody else, have a boss above me when I can make 20 millions off my child? No. No disrespect, but I gotta do it. My son gotta be the sacrifice. Ooh. This video is titled Ryan Kaji's Parents Finally Lost Everything. Video by Red Alert.
Ryan Kaji's parents didn't just fumble the bag. They lit it on fire, served it as a side dish, and then asked for seconds. We're talking about Shion and Luan Kaji, the masterminds behind Ryan's World, who turned their toddler into a walking ATM and are now watching their empire crumble.
Look how many YouTube plaques they got. Oh my, they got this whole company working behind them off the back of their child. That's so crazy. Bro, this dude was 4 years old and he retired his parents at 4 years old. I can't even compete with that. I cannot compete with that. 4 years old, retiring your parents, you got all these YouTube plaques, you got all these grown adults depending on this child to review some toys. That's actually crazy.
Faster than a house of cards in a hurricane, and honestly, it's about time. So let me paint you a picture of how we got here. Back in 2015, these two decided their 3-year-old opening toy boxes was peak entertainment. Fast forward a few years, and Ryan becomes the highest paid YouTuber.
Bro, 2 billion, 1.1 billion, bro. I need to see what them checks is looking like. Oh my.
Broke nigga alert. Broke nigga alert.
Is it talking about me?
Broke nigga
I
alert.
think so, my nigga.
Broke nigga alert.
On the planet, raking in over $20 million annually. Not bad for a kid who can barely tie his shoelaces, right? But here's interesting. While Ryan was busy being a human cash cow, his parents were busy being, well, his parents turned managers, turned exploiters, turned whatever you call people who profit off their child's childhood. And so the Kajis quit their actual jobs. Luan was a chemistry teacher, Shion was an engineer, to become full-time Ryan's World content farmers. They hired...
Okay, but any parent would have done that. If I'm a parent and I just see my child make 20 millions in a year, you think I'm about to be a chemistry teacher? You think I'm about to be an engineer for somebody else, have a boss above me when I can make 20 millions off my child? No. No disrespect, but I gotta do it. My son gotta be the sacrifice. Ooh. At the same time though, children, they like opening presents. So what is just shoving a camera in their face really gonna do? They like opening, but I could see how it could kind of be inauthentic because the child is just going to know that this is just my life now. I could see two sides of the coin.
A 30-person production team, incorporated Sunlight Entertainment, and basically turned their house into a content factory with Ryan as the star employee. Except here's where the water gets murky, because Ryan wasn't necessarily in a position to negotiate contracts or ask for bathroom breaks. But that didn't matter to his parents, because by 2019, Ryan's face was plastered on everything from Walmart toys to Colgate toothpaste. The kid had his own Macy's parade balloon as Red Titan. Not to mention, they built a $1 billion brand on shoulders that were still growing. But even back then, people were side-eyeing this whole operation harder than a suspicious TikTok dance trend. Now, because of this, critics weren't just throwing shade. They were launching full solar eclipses. The FTC launched an investigation because apparently turning your living room into a 24/7 advertisement disguised as playtime raises some eyebrow. Who would have thought, right? And so consumer advocates accused them of deceiving millions of kids with ads that look like regular content. It's almost like preschoolers can't tell the difference between Ryan loves this toy and Ryan's getting paid to love this toy. The family...
Okay, but really, what's the point in that? Like, kids aren't gonna buy that, they're just gonna ask their parents. And if the parents are dumb enough to fall for an ad like that, does it really matter? I mean, he's promoting a toy, of course, but that's what his channel was based off of in the beginning, was opening toys. So obviously once you ramp up, companies are gonna ask you to do that and they're gonna pay you handsomely. to do that. To do that. Fuck it.
Even had to rebrand from Ryan's Toys Review to Ryan's World to make it sound less commercial. That's like calling a casino a fun money adventure center. Same energy, different packaging. But the sponsored content kept flowing because apparently ethics don't pay the bills like overworking Ryan does. And speaking of that, let's talk numbers. Ryan was filming up to 25 segments every week across multiple channels. 25. That's more content than most adult YouTubers produce in months. And this kid was still
25 at that young of an age, bro. I don't even think I hit 25 videos in a month straight, but he was doing that in a week. They was slaving him. I take everything I said back. They was slaving him.
Every aspect of his life became monetized entertainment. Family vlogs, science experiments, daily routines. The boy couldn't brush his teeth without it becoming content. And the worst part is that no laws protected Ryan's earnings the way they protect child actors in Hollywood. All that money legally belonged to mommy and daddy. So while Ryan was up...
Oh, that's so fucked. You made all this money and it's legally your parents. They really slimed you out. They didn't give a fuck about you. I take everything I said back.
Here being the family breadwinner, his parents were the ones holding the bread and the butter and probably the entire grocery store. But karma doesn't forget addresses, and it definitely doesn't skip YouTube channels. Because fast forward to today, and the Kaji empire is collapsing harder than a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Remember when Ryan's World was pulling in over 1 billion views per video? Those days are deader than flip phones. New videos now struggle to break 100,000 views. We're talking about a 70% drop in viewership, which for a channel of this size, that's not a decline. That's a free fall with no parachute. Now, the reasons are both obvious and satisfying. Ryan grew up, and so did his audience. The 5-year-olds who used to worship him are now preteens who think the same content his parents are forcing him to make is, well, cringe. Meanwhile, new toddlers aren't interested in watching a teenager pretend to be excited about toys.
See, if his parents was really smart, they would make his child grow up with the content. So what is he, a teenager now? Have him doing like sports reviews, opening new sports setups, trying out, say if he's a baseball player, trying out this type of bat versus this type of bat, trying out the airless basketball versus the Spalding basketball. Like, have him doing content that revolves around his age group. That's what you did at the first time when it peaked off.
It's kind of like watching your older brother play with action
That makes
figures.
more sense.
It's just awkward and uncomfortable for everyone involved. But wait, it gets even worse for Ryan's parents. YouTube has since changed its algorithm after the Copa crackdown, and suddenly channels featuring kids weren't getting the royal treatment anymore. The result, Luann herself admitted, they lost 70% of their income practically overnight. Again, 70%. That's not a pay cut, that's financial amputation. And just when you thought Ryan's parents couldn't dig themselves a deeper hole, they decided to make a movie called Ryan's World, the movie. Titan Universe Adventure. Sounds epic, right? Yeah, no. This cinematic masterpiece managed to gross a whopping $624,000 against a $10 million budget.
Ooh.
They lost nearly $9.5 million on what was essentially a very expensive home video. Theaters were empty.
At that point, like, why even do it? Like, nobody was asking for a Ryan movie. Why even do it? Y'all really cannot be that money hungry.
Than a Logan Paul apology, and by the third weekend, indie films nobody had heard of were outgrossing Ryan's Hollywood debut.
Sheesh.
The movie flopped so hard you could hear the echo in empty theaters, and honestly, it's poetic justice that the project, which was seen as a quick money grab by Ryan's parents, ended up accelerating their downfall instead. Because here's where the story gets really dark. As Ryan started showing signs of being over the whole YouTube thing, appearing tired, reluctant, speaking in flat tones like he'd rather be literally anywhere else, his parents made a move that would make even the greediest stage parents blush. They started pushing his younger twin sisters, Emma and Kate.
The world thought that they were down for the count. They thought that these people were nerfed. And then they pulled out another infinite money glitch. they're twins and they're girls. Infinite money glitch. Bro.
Into the spotlight. The girls, who are only 7 years old, now have their own animation series and are increasingly featured in family content.
That's crazy.
It's like watching someone finish draining one well and then immediately start digging another. The internet's
Facts.
reaction was absolute disgust. Comments like, Ryan made his parents $34 million and now they're exploiting his baby sisters, started flooding social media. And so the public opinion shift has been brutal and well deserved. People are finally seeing the Kajis for what they always were. Two adults who monetized their children's innocence and called it family content. The fact that multiple states have rushed to pass kidfluencer laws requiring parents to set aside earnings for their children is basically society admitting the Kaji model was exploitation all along. Even recent interviews with the family have been particularly telling. When Ryan appeared on a podcast, viewers noticed how uncomfortable he looked, how little he spoke, and how his parents did most of the talking. Comments poured in predicting a future Netflix documentary about how his parents robbed him blind. People are literally counting down the years until Ryan turns 18 and can tell his real story. But as of now, the Kajis are desperately trying to keep their sinking ship afloat.
When that video dropped of him after he turned 18 exposing his parents, that shit will hit like crack in the 80s. Everybody gonna be tuning into that.
Cycling old footage of younger Ryan, using his face in thumbnails for videos he barely appears in, and pushing the twins harder than a Black Friday sale. But the writing's on the wall. By 2029 or 2030, when Ryan's 18 and the twins are 12, this whole operation will finally collapse under its own greed. And you know what? Good. The fall of Ryan's world isn't just karma, it's a cautionary tale about what happens when you build an empire on a child's back. The Kajis turned their son into the most famous kid on the internet, but in doing so, they also guaranteed their own downfall. They still have money, sure, they've got their Hawaiian mansion and product lines, but their golden goose is cooked, their reputation is in shambles, and
That's
their
true.
legacy will...
But their legacy, they probably don't care about their legacy. Like, they bathing in money. Like, they got infinite money. They don't really care about that no more.
Forever be those parents who use their kid for YouTube fame. The gravy train has officially derailed, and honestly, it couldn't have happened to more deserving people. So here's to Ryan Kaji. May he finally get the normal teenage years he deserves. And here's to his parents. May they enjoy watching their empire crumble from the mansion their son's childhood bought them. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting karma do its job. And in this case, karma's working overtime. But let me know in the comments what...
Bro, I just hope at least when he turned 18, they break him off a bunch of bread. Knowing them parents, though, they ain't gonna do none of that. They might give him a little allowance and be like, oh, you gotta find your own job. Why don't you just make a YouTube? Huh? They'll probably be like that. But he needs 90% of that money because y'all made it off the back of a child. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is Barry Reacts, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.